What is up, my people? It is your boy Dark.Pch, and today we are going to be talking about Peach on the tier list and where I think she should be. Now, I get this question a lot, and I usually just don't answer it because when it comes to a tier list basically just shows me how good characters are doing in tournament. It doesn't literally state the full potential of a character and how good they are in general. It's just a comparison with tournament results to everybody else. That's how I feel like tier lists are as of right now. So when comparing Peach to other characters on the tier list, I am going to use this criteria right here. So that way it's not me just judging a book by its cover. We're just taking these aspects, comparing them together, and we can kind of get a visual idea of what character wins in more fields. So when it comes to quick range attacks, I feel like he definitely wins in this department. His Fair and Bear, even though they come in on frame 10 or frame 11, they actually have good range. He can keep his opponents in check very well with these aerials, and he doesn't have to worry too much about being punished on whiff for throwing out an attack. And on top of that, he has a 4 frame Nair, which is pretty freaking good. I did not know about this until I did my research on Pit's frame data for this video. So that's pretty good. So when it comes to this department, I'm definitely giving it to Pit. He can safely throw out aerials and not have to worry too much about getting punished. When it comes to pressure, I feel like Peach wins in this department. Ground pressure, Pit's pressure is actually faster because his jab is 5 frames and his down tilt is frame 6. That's pretty good frame data for a down tilt. So he can space those moves on shield pretty quickly, and if the opponent tries to do anything, Pit is right there to punish. And from a distance, he can harass people on the ground with his arrows, so people cannot just freely run in at him. They're either going to be shielding or they're going to get hit with arrows, and then Pit is just building up that chip damage to keep his moves fresh, and then when it's time to kill, he gets the job done. With Peach, I feel like her pressure game has a little bit more variety. She can mix up both air and ground pressure, and with good use of turn up, she can cross people up, open them up, trick them, and then get some pretty decent kill confirmed. So when it comes to this, I am definitely going to give it to Peach. Approaching, I feel like Peach has more ways to approach and a little bit safer, especially with turn up in hand and mixed with short hop air dodging. Peach's approaches, they're not that forceful, like he can't really go in and just toss an attack and kind of be safe. Peach suffers for this too, but the thing is with Peach's approach methods, she has more options to do so, and she can actually make it safer with turn up. So when it comes to approaching, I'm definitely going to give this one to Peach. Auto shield options is kind of even. If somebody attacks either of these characters from the back, Peach wins in that category because she has a 6 frame Bear, and Pit's Bear comes out of frame 11. From the front, Pit would actually have a better chance of punishing somebody out of shield because of his 4 frame Nair. And in general, if they do anything out of shield, Peach's Dare can actually lead to shield pressure or just get some pretty decent damage at low percents. So I guess in that regard, I would give it to Peach by a small amount. As guarding, I feel like Peach, she wins in this department. She has many ways, many creative ways to keep the opponent off the stage due to her floating and her turn-ups. Good use of floating and turn-ups. She can bait air dodges, she can bait early recoveries, and just, you know, snipe them out of it and take the stock. So when it comes to edge guarding, I feel like she has more options to harass the opponent and get some pretty decent kills off stage in comparison to Pit. Recovery, both of the recoveries are pretty good. Pit, he has 5 jumps and his up B does travel at a pretty decent range. Peach, she has many ways to recover with the use of side B, her second jump, floating, and her up B makes it really hard to deny her recovery and get some early stocks. So in this department, I would say it's even. If I had to give it to a character, I would give it to Peach only because her up B makes it really hard to just snipe her for low recoveries. With Pit, people can just Z drop on his head. They can just go out there and hit him with an attack, and you know, it's most likely that could be the end of his stop. So if I had to say, I would give it to Peach, but overall it's pretty much their recovery is pretty decent. Anti-airing, Peach can use turn-ups to kind of create a wall so people cannot freely jump in, or she can go under them and then toss the turn-up and then just follow from there. With Pit, he does have arrows to snipe out of the air, but he kind of has to time it, and the arrows travel pretty fast. So I feel like in terms of anti-airing, Peach might have better options just because she has a versatile projectile. When it comes to attacks, I feel like Pit's anti-air options are better because, you know, he has range and the hitboxes last for quite a while with his nair, his fair, and his up air. So I say pretty even-ish here and there. In terms of projectiles, Peach's anti-air is better. When it comes to attack, I would have to give it to Pit. So yeah, even. Now when it comes to ending a stock, I feel like Peach wins in this department. Both of these characters really can't go in and force a kill, but I feel like Peach, she has a better chance of getting a kill due to good edge guarding, good use of turn-ups. She can crack people's shield with pressure or even freaking break it with good luck, like Mr. Saturn. If she has a Stitch or the Diddle Eyes and that hits off stage, it can really screw somebody over. So she has options. They're not options that can be forced, but she has some pretty good options and even technical options with Z drops out of shield and all that stuff to kind of end the opponent's stock in comparison to Pit. So in this department, I'm going to give it to Peach. And with all that said, this is why I feel that Peach is a better character than Pit. Air moves, no competition. Luigi has this hands down. He has a good bear. It's really hard to deal with a lot of characters. It's good on shield. His up air is really good for aerial approaches. His dair is good as well, and that nair, you already know about that nair. So yeah, when it comes to this department, Luigi, he has Luigi's pressure game is actually pretty scary because it can lead to a lot of stuff. It can lead to a kill confirm. He has jabs, good use of jabs with his forward tilt and aerials. He can open you up and pretty much kill you. It's basically a safer version of Peach's. So when it comes to pressure, I'm definitely gonna give it to Luigi because his pressure can lead to better kills than Peach's. In terms of approaching Luigi, the main common approach you're going to see from Luigi is fireballs. And if he hits with a fireball, he can kill you depending on percent and the range that he's at, or he can get a lot of damage. But other than that, I don't see Luigi having any other methods to approach outside from probably, you know, bears, you know, space bears. And with Peach, as I mentioned before, she has versatile ways to kind of get in and safer manners due to, you know, her turn up. And even without that, she still has short hop air dodge. So if somebody tries to come through, she can just evade it and either force him to block or counter attack with a whiff. So with Luigi, his approaches can lead to kills, but other than that, if the opponent just stays in Luigi's range and avoids fireballs, really not much is happening, and there really isn't much Luigi can do in comparison to Peach when she approaches with a turn up. So I would probably either give it to Peach in this department due to variety over Luigi. Out of shield options, I'm definitely giving to Luigi on this one. Even at high percent, he got attacks like Bear and Nair that can kill you. So when it comes to out of shield options, I'm definitely going to give it to Luigi. It has more range and it's faster than Peach. Edge guarding, I feel like Peach is better. She has more options to harass the opponent off the stage without her having to go off at times compared to Luigi. Luigi, if he goes out for an edge guard, is pretty much a hard read. Like, he has to be sure and make an educated guess that the opponent's going to do this. And if he guesses wrong, due to his recovery, it might leave him open. So in terms of edge guarding, Peach, she definitely has more options to harass the opponent off the stage in comparison to Luigi. In terms of recovery, Peach, she has a better recovery, and it's hard to hit her out of recovery compared to Luigi. With Luigi, if he's not far out the stage, due to his poor airspeed, he most likely always has to neutral B to get back onto the stage, and then if he's too low, he'll have to up B if he doesn't have a jump. Sometimes he'll have a jump and probably still have to up B depending. So it's easier to kind of guess when he's going to recover, how he's going to recover, and hit him out of it, especially with the tornado. There's a lot of characters that can just go out there and hit him. So in terms of recovery, Peach, she wins in this department. She's just harder to hit and guess at times compared to Luigi. When it comes to anti-air, I think both characters are pretty even. You know, Peach, she can have a wall of turn-ups in the air, so it kind of slows the opponent down. And then also she could pull back while tossing the turn-up if somebody tries to jump in at her. Luigi, he can do the same thing with his fireballs. He can weave back a little bit while shooting a fireball. He can shoot two, you know, to cover his landing, one in the air and one in the ground in case the air will miss or they try to air dodge and stuff. So I say in this department, both characters, they're pretty even. They're kind of even when it comes to anti-airs. The projectile game, I say, is pretty evenish. With Luigi, if he hits with a fireball as he's approaching, he can get some kill confirms depending on the distance, or he can just get a lot of damage. With Peach, she can get kill confirms off the stage with good uses of turn-ups / Z-drop turn-ups, forcing the opponent to jump, air dodge, or up B early. And in a neutral standpoint, they're both really good for turning your opponent to chill. Good anti-airs, they really can just rush in on these characters with good use of it. Peach's turn-up is a very versatile projectile. It can be used for pressure. And Luigi's fireball, it can be used to condition to opponent to block, where he can start his insanely good pressure game on shield. So with that, I say it's pretty even. I'll give it even category. The projectile game, I say, is pretty evenish. With Luigi, if he hits with a fireball as he's approaching, he can get some kill confirms depending on the distance, or he can just get a lot of damage. With Peach, she can get kill confirms off the stage with good uses of turn-ups / Z-drop turn-ups, forcing the opponent to jump, air dodge, or up B early. And in a neutral standpoint, they're both really good for turning your opponent to chill. Good anti-airs, they really can just rush in on these characters with good use of it. Peach's turn-up is a very versatile projectile. It can be used for pressure. And Luigi's fireball, it can be used to condition to opponent to block, where he can start his insanely good pressure game on shield. So with that, I say it's pretty even. I'll give it even category. When it comes to kills, Luigi, the only way I see him really getting a kill is if somebody gets hit with a fireball as he's approaching, or they do something that leaves him open where Luigi, he's just gonna get an up smash, or if he's getting comboed and the opponent's at high percent and they keep trying to go for combo, you know, Luigi, he's just gonna throw out that nair, and that nair is pretty good, along with opening somebody up on shield pressure. But without those options, I really don't see Luigi getting a lot of solid kills if the opponent is playing really patient. Like, there really isn't much he can do off the stage in comparison to Peach. Peach has a lot of options to edge guard a lot of characters in this game, so she can get some pretty decent kills on and off stage. With Peach, you know, good turn up approaches, eat somebody's shield, so you can crack somebody's shield. Good turn Z drops out of shield could lead to some pretty good damage if Peach players experiment with that more. So I am going to give this to Peach in terms of getting the job done. Now, it's not about, oh, well, Luigi is strong, you know, this and that, so he hurts, he got the up B and all that. It's not about power, it's not about all that. It's about how many options are presented to you to end somebody's life. And I feel like Peach has more options to end somebody's life both on stage and off stage. So in this department, I'm going to give it to Peach. And this is why I feel overall that Peach is a better character than Luigi. In terms of air attacks, I feel like Yoshi, he wins this department right here. His air attacks, they either are faster than Peach or just have more range than her. So Yoshi can freely throw air attacks and counter, like win more air battles, better than Peach's. So in this department, yep, definitely giving it to Yoshi. The pressure game, I'm definitely going to give it to Yoshi right here. Good mixture of his jab, his forward tilt, his down tilt, and throwing in a few dares here and there. It makes it really hard to kind of like either escape Yoshi or just punish him out of shield. Either you'll have your shield eaten to a point where you have to drop it and you're just going to get hit, or you're just going to have it broken with dare and a mixture of down B. So when it comes to shield pressure, the Dino, he definitely has that one. So in terms of shield options, they're kind of evenish, but I would probably give Peach a slight lead. Now from the back, Peach's bear hits on frame 6, while Yoshi's bear hits on frame 11. But Yoshi's bear has more range than Peach's bear. Now from the front, Yoshi definitely wins in every aspect. Like, he has a 3 frame there that has more range than Peach's 5 frame there. So it's better for him to challenge out of shield. And jab, the only type of thing he loses with the jab is his jab is 3 frames while Peach's jab is 2 frames. But his jab just has more range. But if Peach has a turnip in her hand and the opponent is close, or they're at a certain distance where they can't freely do anything, Peach can toss the turnip out of shield and, you know, proceed to pressure if they have to block or if she gets to hit. So because of that turnip thing, as well as, you know, Z dropping turnip out of shield, going for kill confirms with it, I'm slightly gonna give this one to Peach. In the edge guarding department, I'm gonna give it to Peach. Yoshi's eggs could really be good for baiting air dodges, jumps, attack, and then just going out there and either spiking them or just hitting them with an aerial. Now with Peach, she could do the same thing, but she can also do it off the stage. When Yoshi goes off the stage, I feel like he is not that safe in terms of baiting and getting a hit and then making it back onto the stage in comparison to Peach. So Yoshi, he's a pretty decent edge guarder when he's on the stage because those edges can be annoying, which can force the opponent to either take a hit or air dodge, which leaves them open and Yoshi can get some early kills. But Peach, she can go both on and off the stage, mix up bait jumps, bait air dodges, bait early up Bs, and then just finish the job. So basically, I'm only giving it to Peach here just because she has more ways to edge guard an opponent in comparison to Yoshi. When it comes to the anti-air game, I feel like it's pretty even. Peach, she can create a wall of turnips, have 2 in the air, and then if one hits, she can catch one, toss the other one, rinse and repeat. She can just constantly have a turnip in her hand, then she can move in and out, throw one turnip in the air, cover herself, get another one, toss that in the air, and then, you know, just rinse and repeat. Pretty much recycling. But with Yoshi, he can move and just have something in the air without having to wait a while like Peach. Like in Peach, she has to pull a turnip, get some space, safely pull one. With Yoshi, he can just dip and then just toss an egg and then, you know, rinse and repeat. So the difference is Yoshi, he just can't recycle, so if somebody gets too close, like he can't really freely throw one out. With Peach, she could kind of move out the way, and then she had one turnip just falling down. So in this category, I'd say it's about even in anti-air. They're both really good. The only thing is, Yoshi, he can just start anti-airing a bit faster than Peach. But Peach, she can kind of keep it up more in a consistent manner. So with that, I'm just gonna say it's even. It's evenish. In the projectile department, I think I'm gonna give it to Peach in this one. Now Yoshi's A's, they're really good for anti-airing. If you get the opponent off the stage, you can force a jump, recovery, and then get a kill, as you just saw right there. But with Peach, I feel like she can do the same thing, as well as she can fight with it. It's a versatile projectile. She can catch it. She can punish out of shield better with it than Yoshi can with his eggs. And it just leads to a lot of traps. You can create a decent wall, have 2 hitbox out there at once, makes it hard for the opponent to go in. So with that, I'm gonna give it to Yoshi. She could do the same things with the projectiles as Yoshi, but I feel like Peach just has more options because she has a versatile projectile. So I'm gonna give it to Peach in this department. Now finishing a stock, both of these characters, I don't feel like they can just rush in and like really get pretty decent kill confirms. Like if the opponent's playing very patient, both of these characters, they can't just go in and toss out an up smash and anything of the sort. So I feel like they both struggle like if the opponent is just chilling. But I'm probably gonna give it to Peach in this one because even though Yoshi hurts more, Yoshi, he has good frame traps when the opponent is coming down, and he could get some early kills with his up air. Peach, I feel like she has a bit more variety on stage and off stage. Yoshi, he definitely hurts more, so if he gets a hit, he's definitely going to end the stock earlier. But in terms of him trying to get a hit, I don't see Yoshi having many ways to do so unless he forces the opponent to block with, you know, egg approaches, good shield pressure, open them up. If they block too long, you can just hit them with a dare or just crack the shield with a down B, break it, and then just get a a kill depending on percent. So with that, both of these characters, they can't really force a kill. They have to like plan it out and wait. But I just feel like Peach has more options on and off stage and out of shield if she has a turn up and she decides to Z drop to a kill setup. So with that, I'm gonna give finishing a stock in Peach is favor. So these are my reasons with the character comparison and why I think Peach is a better character than Yoshi. When it comes to air attacks and range, I'm definitely going to give it to Captain Falcon in this one. He has a bear that comes out on frame 10, but I think it has more range than Peach's bear. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that. But he does have a nair that comes out on frame 7, and it has more range plus speed than any of Peach's aerials, as well as a 6 frame up air. Has pretty decent horizontal range, so that can be used to go in and snuff out characters' attacks if they try to go in at Captain Falcon. And that with a mixture of his speed, it could make it really hard for characters to try to punish Captain Falcon on whiff in comparison to Peach. So in this field, I'm definitely going to give it to my man Falcon. In the pressure department, I'm definitely going to give it to Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon, he is really good on shield. He's really good at punishing whiff attacks at a certain range due to his speed. And he has really good jab mix-ups. And once he gets a hit, his speed just grants him to stay close to the opponent, not giving him much room to breathe and kind of reset neutral. And if the opponent tries to air dodge or jump, Falcon is really good at punishing landings and checking people's chins, as you saw right here, and that's it, man. There goes the stop. So when it comes to pressure, I'm definitely going to give it to Captain Falcon. When it comes to out of shield options, I feel like Princess Peach's shield options are better than Captain Falcon's. Captain Falcon's frame data does not really require him to, attack out of shield outside of jab if the opponent is really close. With Peach, she can bear out of shield, which is 6 frames. She has a nair if the opponent is really close. She has a turn up where she can Z drop or punish at a certain distance out of shield. So with that, I'm definitely going to give the out of shield options to Peach. In the edge guarding department, I'm going to give it to Peach here. Again, she has more options. With Captain Falcon, he can't really just go outside of the stage. Most of his damage or harassment to keeping people off the stage is a good ledge game. So basically, he has to wait for the opponent to like either do something or get up and then just try to apply the pressure onto the stage to get them off the stage. And if they do anything like air dodge or throw out a move, he can just go in up air, neutral air, and then rinse and repeat. But Falcon, he can't really try to force a hit off the stage. He kind of like has to be patient and play like a good ledge game. In comparison to Peach, where she could do that on stage, off stage, she can bait a lot of stuff due to her turn-ups and etc. So with that, I am definitely going to give the edge guarding to Peach. In terms of recovery, I think this is a no-brainer right here. Definitely Princess Peach. She definitely has more options. At times, if Falcon, he is forced to use the second jump, he has no choice but to up B, and a lot of characters can just wait and then punish him super hard for that, just taking the stock pretty early, depending on the situation. So when it comes to recovery, this is no competition here. Peach definitely has the better recovery options. When it comes down to anti-airs, I feel like Peach, he is better at sniping people out of the air than Captain Falcon, only due to the fact that she has a projectile and she doesn't have to be that close to shut somebody down. So with that, I feel like Peach's anti-airs are better than Captain Falcon's. Projectile, no competition here. Peach has a projectile, Captain Falcon doesn't. So it's a no-brainer who wins this one. When it comes to killing, I don't think Captain Falcon does it better than Peach. Usually when Falcon gets his kills, it's either he has the opponent in the air and he's harassing them to do something dumb and then he just continues to get the hits, or when he gets them off the stage, waits for the same exact thing and then just finishes them with a kill. With Peach, she has options to finish the opponent off the stage, on stage, good space aerials. Most of the aerials get the job done better than Captain Falcon. So Falcon, it's pretty much just a waiting game. Peach is a waiting game too, but the options are not granted. Falcon's options are kind of limited to try to like get a kill off. He really has to rely on his speed to force the opponent to flinch or do something unsafe where he can get them on shield and then shield pressure, or just punish them on whiff. So with that, those are my reasons as to why I feel Peach is a better character than my man Captain Kicks. So when it comes down to quick range attacks, Ness, he definitely wins it. That fair alone, enough said, man. That fair alone is hard to punish, it's hard to challenge. That fair is really good. And due to his air mobility, it's a pretty hard move to deal with, and it could just lead to dragging your opponent off the stage, putting them in a bad situation, and possibly getting the kill. So with that said, we're definitely going to give it to Ness. When it comes to pressuring somebody, I think both of these characters are pretty even in this field. Ness, he has good frame data with his jab and his down tilt, both coming out on frame 3. So with good spacing and the opponent tries to do something out of shield, you know, Ness is pretty good at punishing. Peach, she's also very good at punishing. Her ground pressure might not be that fast, but she can mix up both air and ground pressure, as well with good use of turn-ups, Z-drop turn-ups, and air cross-up. And I also forgot to mention that Ness's PK Fire is really good on shield. He can pretty much get a free jump in and start shield pressure, or just crack it, or force the opponent to do something out of shield where they can't block anymore, and capitalize from there. So with that, I will say it's pretty even with both characters. When it comes to out of shield options, if both of these characters are hit from the back, Peach definitely has the better option with her 6 frame bear in comparison to Ness's 10 frame bear. Now if they're getting hit for the front, Ness will probably win in this regard. Matter of fact, not probably, he does, because both of their nairs is on frame 5. Ness's fair hits on frame 8, but definitely has more range. So he can definitely challenge players from a farther distance than Peach can, unless Peach has a turnip in her hand, so that way she can just toss a turnip at a safe distance and get some damage and pretty much take control of neutral, or Z-drop out of shield, which pretty much could lead to some kill follow-ups. So because of that, I'm slightly gonna give the shield advantage to Peach. When it comes to edge guarding, I'm gonna give it to Peach in this one. I feel like she could do more stuff. With Ness, he has the up B that can kind of bait air dodges and force opponents to be in nasty situations where he can just go out there and get a guaranteed kill. But I don't feel like Ness can go off the stage as freely, because if he misses, then he's the one being edge guarded. Doesn't seem like to have a lot of options when he goes out there. And with Peach, I already discussed this before with, you know, floating, turn-ups, and all that stuff. So because of that, I feel like Peach has more options to end an opponent's stock off stage, and I'm going to give it to her in comparison to Ness. When it comes to recovery, I feel like Peach, she wins in this department. She has ways to recover, she can mix it up. With Ness, sometimes she's kind of left open with the up B. He has to sit there and wait for it to hit. People, they can just go out there, absorb the up B, counter him, or if you're Rosalina, just down B. So his recovery at times, it could pretty much put him in a crappy situation where a lot of characters, they can just go out there and hit him and then force him into bad spots where he has to recover. Obviously he can't move, and people can just go out there and end his stock. So when it comes to recovery, I'm definitely giving it to Peach. When it comes down to anti-airs, I'm gonna give it to Peach in this one, just because, you know, versatile use of her turn-ups. And with Ness, he does have a fair, but he kind of has to go in, and he's pretty much just keeping people in check. And his up B, I wouldn't really consider it much of an anti-air. It's just good if somebody's in the air and they're trying to land. So in this field, I'm definitely gonna give the anti-air to Peach. Projectile wise, I feel like there's no competition. Peach definitely wins in this field. Ness, he does have PK Fire, but it's not that fast, and he has to stand still while throwing it. It could be good at times for, you know, catching people out of their up Bs and going for a kill confirm. But other than that, there really isn't much he can do, as well as his PK Thunder and PK Flash. So with that, I'm just gonna give this one to Peach. I feel like in this field, both characters, they're kinda on an even-ish playing field. With Ness, if he gets a fair at low percent, he can drag the opponent off the stage with it and then put him in crappy situations with the PK Thunder, baiting jumps, air dodges, or early recoveries, where he can hit them pretty hard with his up air and his bear, do pretty decent amount of damage. A PK Fire, if he lands that on stage at high percent, he can pretty much finish the opponent off. His grab, that back throw, that move hurts. And with Peach, she can pretty much harass people off the stage pretty well and be at a safe position than in comparison to Ness. And she has ways to get kills on stage as well with good shield pressure, good use of turnup traps. But I probably would give it to Ness a bit more, because if they were both to force a kill, Ness can get away with it a little bit more. If he forces the opponent to do something dumb, that back throw alone is just, that's it. I'm gonna just push two buttons, the Z and the back of the stick, and that's it, you dead. So with that, I'm going to give this one to Ness. I feel like Ness, he kills a bit better than Peach does, especially with the air harassment, just forcing them to do something dumb with that PK Thunder, and you know, that's it, rep stock. So with everything tallied up, I believe Peach won most of these categories. So this is my reason to why I think Peach is better than Ness. So that is my opinion on why I think Peach is better than those characters I just mentioned in the video, and why I think she is the bottom of high tier. Now, I don't want people coming at me in the comments with pitchforks like, LOL, this character is definitely not worse than Peach because of blah blah blah. I'm not here for that, man. I'm not here for that. You can go with smashboards for that. People asked my opinion and I finally decided to answer it. So that's exactly what I'm doing in this video. And that is it. So with that said, I would like to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the new subscribers that have come through to my channel, as well as my old ones supporting the channel since the beginning of time. And you know, sharing the video, liking the video, very much appreciated. You guys are freaking awesome. So I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a beautiful day, and peace off.